There is no more verifiable way to achieve everything that you want in life by simply setting incremental goals. Not ones that you think are far too lofty, maybe a little bit improbable in your idea, but you know what, hey, you put one foot in front of the other, you maintain certain consistency, and you too, even if you shoot for the moon, you can miss and you can land amongst the stars. What are every other old tripe and cliche that you've heard out there? Nothing is fully impossible as long as you continue to try. Well, nothing's fully impossible unless you're Manny Jacinto looking for a second season of The Acolyte. That's just never gonna happen, bro. Chimere is dead, done, and dusted. He's gonna stay on that goon island with Lord Plagueis and Osha. Is that the one that you stole? And reminisce about all those fun times killing all of those Jedis. And by this time next year, nobody's even gonna remember that you were in a Star Wars project. But him coming out and say this to, I don't know, the dozens of people that were in the audience at Dragon Con, I'm sure it drew a smattering of applause, and he looked like somebody who really cares. But for as many times as I like to deride actors for taking shots at the fan base, at least Manny does this the right way, okay? I gotta give him props and credit where it's due, because for as many things that you could critique and pick apart when it came to The Acolyte, and trust me, that list is numerous, and we went through a bunch of them, when it came to the performance of Manny Jacinto, he really wasn't that bad, He was one of the bright spots that was there. That's also like, bringing a flashlight into a black hole bright spot. But hey, whatever. Manny Jacinto says making Star Wars The Acolyte Season 2 is his life goal because that was supposed to be his season. Leslie Headland said that the story of Chimere, the stranger, Smilo Red was going to be flushed out totally in Season 2, and that's why after, his big fight scene in Episode 5, he seemed like a superfluous inclusion to the rest of the season. But anyways, Star Wars actor Manny Jacinto said making Season 2 of The Acolyte is now his personal life goal. Digital LA shared a video of Jacinto at Atlanta Dragon Con, where he was asked what he wants to achieve before dying. Season 2 of The Acolyte, he replied to cheers from the audience. Disney Plus show was canceled, and it was confirmed to be canceled by Amandla Stenberg in her rambling, incoherent mess of an 8-minute, 38-second response video that historians to this very day are still trying to decipher for any tangible knowledge. She's a total idiot. But yes, following middling viewership, brother, it's scraping the it's cultivating the dirt under the barrel where you put bad Star Wars shows. Like, it was really bad. It was very bad. Okay, The Acolyte takes us on an earlier era of Star Wars that we've seen on screen with mixed results. Yeah, IGN gave it a 6. On the IGN scale, put it to you this way: Concord, the game that Sony just killed off, got a 7 from IGN. To let you know where they're at. Many fans, and of course its stars, lamented the cancellation. Who? Li Zhongjae said that he was quite surprised. Well, to be fair, he couldn't understand you because he's still not fluent in English. To hear it wouldn't get a second season, which creator Leslie Headland was thinking about even before season 1 premiered. And yeah, some insiders reported that back in February or April, they were trying to assemble a writer's room for season 2, but then after the response of the 2-episode premiere and everybody looking at that going, what the fuck did I just waste my time on? Yeah, Lucasfilm, even in their infinite stupidity, could see that a season 2 was just not going to be in the cards. No. Amandla Stenberg, after releasing her diss track, releases her, 8.5-minute long video where she touts her personal ethics and then blames everybody but herself for the failing of the show. Like, you're the lead actress. You're playing the 2 main roles, and nobody was talking about you in regards to how bad the show was. Like, you were trying to drum up your own publicity because nobody was talking about May. Nobody was talking about Osha because they were cardboard cutouts, not characters, okay? The only differentiation that you could tell after May decided to give herself the old supercut special care of a lightsaber was that May was a little bit louder than Osha. It was trash, bro. But no. It was hyper-conservative bigotry and vitriol, prejudice, hatred, and hateful language toward us. Yes, ... a bingo. Idiot bingo. Plenty more Star Wars is still on the way. Are you threatening us? Yeah, the Goonies-esque space adventure skeleton crew and season 2 of Ahsoka and season 2 of Andor. But let's not point out the one that, people actually like. The one that you can use as an immediate counter to all of the hatred and bigotry foisted on a Star Wars show that has a non-white protagonist and LGBTQ plus representation. Because if you just say, oh yeah, look, it looks like all those review bombers must have missed out on that old Andor show, which if you take a look at Cassian Andor, he's played by Diego Luna, right? Yeah, Diego Luna. That sounds an awful lot like, Herb Smith from Utah, right? And there's lesbian relationships and a bunch of the other stuff that apparently ticks the boxes that you freaks like. I guess the review bombers, yeah, they missed out on that one. Yeah, I look forward to be bored by the endless pausing in between words with season 2 of Ahsoka. Yeah, and yeah, Mandalorian and Grogu will be in theaters in 2026, so stay on guard for that. And December 18th, 2026, and December 17th, 2027. Yo, listen, I'm not saying that I'm planning anything, but I'm also not looking that far forward into the future, because I don't even know if we're all going to be around by that point in time. But yeah, those are earmarked by Disney for Star Wars movies. And yeah, got Dave Filoni's stupid wrap-up Mandalorian or Mandoverse film, and yeah, episode 10, a new Rey movie. Everybody excited by that. But I was interested in this article, not so much by Manny Jacinto. It's like, I had good fan interaction. Good for him. But what exactly are people looking forward to? And Mandalorian, Grogu, James Mangold, which the last time that he danced with Lucasfilm, it produced that abysmal Indiana Jones 5 movie. Remember last year there was an Indiana Jones movie that came out? Yeah, neither does anybody else. Nobody cares, bro. Even the guy that was at the quote-unquote helm of Disney's biggest success in recent years, Sean Levi, the director of Deadpool and Wolverine, yeah, he's supposed to be doing a Star Wars movie. Is anybody looking forward to that? Nope. But I think what's even more damning is in fourth place? You have the beginning of what could potentially be the sequel trilogy with the Rey movie. Whew. Lucasfilm, it's going to be in for a lot of hurt for a very long time, because if you remember the reception to Mandalorian Season 3, which Mandalorian and Grogu is just the repurposed script for Season 4, you're going to end up driving off even more fans than you already have. And, well, here's the thing. This is why this was such the cancellation of Acolyte, at least leaking the news, being as public as Disney can possibly get in regards to this. That's why this was so interesting. It's very interesting and unexpected, because we know the fan base that Disney has cultivated, that Lucasfilm has culled with their forces female. Everything needs to stick a chick in it and make it lame and gay. We knew the people that were out there, okay? The people that want to renew the Acolyte. Remember this petition that got fired up just the day after the announcement, August 20th. I can't believe that all of this stuff has happened in such a compressed time frame. But as you can see, 849 people. Oh, let's just refresh it and see how many people have actually joined. Nope, the 849 people, 65,000 people, and they've been on that hump for a little while to get to the 75,000 marker. But hey, don't worry about it, okay? There's a lot of enthusiasm over there, and that's apparently analogous to the amount of people that actually watched this show if you break down the numbers. Not very good viewership, but it was just all those bigots, right? The same bigots that would sign up the help decanonize the Acolyte, the 6,500 people that signed today, the 16,000 signatures now that this petition has circulated. I could probably refresh this and we'll probably see a few more people hop on the, yep, no, over 17,000. When it comes to Star Wars fans, actual ones, not the tourists that come in and they just want to check the requisite number of boxes to make sure that they can approve of, so they can get the adulation on social media that they're so desperate for. They love their franchise, they love what George Lucas created, and they aren't willing to let it go, regardless of how much slop has been poured onto their plate over the past decade plus that Disney has owned Lucasfilm. They're willing, even in a different medium, to call back to the halcyon days of LucasArts and stomach through the garbage that is Star Wars Outlaws in regards to the video game space, where Star Wars succeeded in a secondary way. This used to be the biggest cinematic franchise in history. Prior to the ascendance of the MCU, nobody could touch Star Wars. The moment that a Star Wars project was even hinted at, people were going wild over, and now we're seeing multiple throughout the year, and nobody's excited for Skeleton Crew. Andor Season 2 couldn't even get a passing mention in a shill IGN article. This is what happens, man. You got the diehards that are out there that want to continue to make the canon strong, but Disney and Lucasfilm, Lucasfilm rather, ended up doing the impossible. You drive the normies off of Star Wars, and this is what you're left with. Lucasfilm's cowardice is finally catching up with it. The studio ignores the Acolyte. It puts the entire Star Wars saga at risk. This was the most fan-fiction-y fan fiction I have watched, have had the displeasure of watching in a very long time. This had nothing, outside of some of the iconography, to do with Star Wars at all whatsoever. It had the Force, it had lightsabers. Outside of that, it had a bunch of poor performances, it had a bunch of high school tier melodrama, and the writing to back all of that up. It has nothing to do with Star Wars, but hey, with those freaks, with the Reylos, with all the shippers that are out there, this stuff sits perfectly with them. And years of telling Star Wars fans, actual Star Wars fans, the guys that go out there and buy the laser discs of the OT so that they can see the original releases, so they don't have to wade through all of George Lucas's stupid ex post facto revisions. The guys that have seen the Ewok holiday specials, the Ewok specials, and I guess they were Wookiee holiday specials. But anyways, when you tell them that they're all toxic, or they're racist, sexist, bigots, you drive them off, okay? And this is what you're left with. The people that are upset that a bad show that nobody watched got justifiably canceled, but the only reason that you did it because you guys are bigots. This is why it was so weird, because people that are thinking about this, people who unironically write this, anyone who spent an extended time in fandom space is all too familiar with these echo chambers in the Star Wars fandom, especially. A vocal minority can feel like an overwhelming rabble. Yeah, that's Acolyte fans. Acolyte fans, and I use in big quotes. That's partly because these sects have been allowed to move unchecked against diverse stories for almost a decade. You don't want to embrace the slop? That means that you're a bigot. Why are you walking away from me? I'm trying to chide and deride your position. Oh my god, get that guy fired. Vitriol, prejudice, hatred, and hateful language. Your show sucked. Nobody watched it. You couldn't bully anybody into signing up for your terrible streaming service, donating 26 minutes of their life to some of the most amateurish writing ever committed to screen. Your tactics no longer work here. And the fact that Disney of all companies, ended up piercing the veil to show you that the modern audience, outside of autistic screeching on the internet, doesn't really have any power. Like, look, you couldn't even muster a quarter of the people who actually watched this show turn up and sign a petition. The myth of the modern audience was blown wide open in 2024. Look at the successes at the box office. Are they woke propaganda, or are they just back to basics entertainment? Look at all the flops on streaming services. Again, apply the same logic and come to the same conclusion. The Acolyte might have killed 4 Jedi Masters, in so much as like 2 of them ended up eating themselves. But his most impressive kill is the idea that companies need to kowtow to this minuscule portion of the audience at the expense of the people that actually watch their projects. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.